go. So first I'm going to measure for those. So I'm going to go on the hairline, and I'm going to measure, and yours will be bigger if you're using beige. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and a half. So right here, I'm sorry, and down this ridge, is where I'm going to make put my 4 rollers. Okay? I'm sorry, this is my asthma coughing. What do you have? Oh, gum. Will you peel it for me? Okay, so I have, this is for my 4 rollers. This is the 4 roller bases that the state used to require. But this is what's going to help you also, these 4 rollers, in your thermal styling, perm wrapping.
Aww.
Thank you. What a girl. Okay. Now, you can see that I still have a little bit of a shaping here. So before I go too far, I'm going to put it back in, just to make sure that I don't lose direction. So I'm going to put that back in. I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to put this back in. It's kind of drying out, so I need to wet it. But just so you see it. Just kind of give you a visual. All right? Now I'm going to put in the 2 here. It goes within this first shaping. And it is 1.5 times the length. Now, this is round, but you're going to take a straight part down and go right across that ridge line. And that's where your 2 neutral rollers go. All right? Now, when you get ready to set these, it's going to be divided somewhat in half in a diagonal back. At a diagonal back. So this is going to be 1 neutral roller here and 1 neutral roller here. And then you're going to do your 3 stand-up pin curls. Now they're somewhat the diameter of your roller, but they won't be exactly square. So they're going to have a funny shape to them. So we're going to take 1, but it stays within the shaping. It should match up to this row here. So there's 1. There's 2. And remember, these are going to be the approximate size of the rollers you're using. So the bases might be bigger than mine because I'm using a smaller roller. But again, they won't be perfectly shaped. And there's 3. Oops, and that's not very round. I want it to follow so that you have, what did I tell you guys about talking over there? I may be old and I may be getting deaf, but this room allows me to hear a lot of stuff. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to wet that down again, because now I want to put in, and this is why it's important for you to put in to reshape your finger wedge. And I'm going to put these down a bit so that you can see. You need to have 3 rows below this. This, 1, 2, 3 on this side. 1, 2, 3 on this side. So each side needs 3 rows. You guys are working on a male mannequin. Your head is larger. So take that roller, put it right in the center, look at it, face it, so that you know where your part starts, and that will give you a balance with the same amount of space on both sides of that center section to make sure you have 2 rows that you can put pin curls in. Now here's your partial, and that's really ugly. So well, it's not a quarter. Okay, so here's your partial. This completes, or this finishes off this row. Do you all see that part? That's the part I think that is the hardest to comprehend, is that this shaping is just continued. We pull this out, and we still have this. We don't do anything with that. Okay? So we clean that up, and our finger waves continue. Here, so we drop down. We finished at the closed end, we drop down. This ridge right here is our guide for the next direction. And which direction do I go? Back or forward? Forward. If I went back here, I've got to go forward here. It's toward the face. So each new section is going to start toward the face. I'm sorry to stand in front of you. This is my guide. I'm going to connect them. Comb never leaves the scalp. It's kind of like the magician. My hand never leaves my arm. This is the same thing. Okay? So now this continues going in this direction. It's been a while since I worked on this. It was dry and I washed it out, so it's not gelling. All right? So we want to keep this going this way, and sometimes you need to go back in and put that C back in so that you can finish this shaping. So now my guide becomes this part. So you always need a guide. And when you don't have one, that's when it's important to comb this hair the opposite direction so that you kind of have that as a guide to show you the way. Okay? So we're going to put this back in and comb it a little bit in the opposite direction. Comb it. Remember, you can't take as much hair when you're on the roundest part of the head. So we're going to put this in. I'm sorry, I'm working away from you. I don't know if it would be easier because you guys can't see what I'm doing. But I'll show you as soon as I'm done. Okay, so there's my cleaned up section. I didn't push this one far enough. You see how there's a bald spot kind of here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to learn to understand if you have a gap or if you have a barer spot, what did I do wrong there? Well, I drug this one farther than I drug this one. So whatever the case may be, I want to go back. I want to pull a little from this and add a little more of this. Rob Peter to pay Paul. You know that old saying? But we don't spend a half an hour, little slack doing that. Okay? By keeping that comb right against your finger and keeping it there as you shift, the hair has no place to go but up. That will make your ridge. You don't have to push it and manipulate it. It will be there. Okay? Now where did we finish? We finished on this side, correct? So now we want to go where?
Forward.
So we're going to drop down below this, and we're going to go toward the face. I think the hardest part is getting you to understand this one. Okay, so as you go along and you put in, and you do the best you can, you guys have been doing quite well around the ears. I just want to put in one more row so that you can see it. And without gel, it's not going to work, but too much is not going to work either. So a little bit of this and a little bit of this. Okay. So we're coming back around this way. I wasn't able to get a ridge to stay, and normally I would not pull that out, but Someday I'm gonna come in with a head that has no ears.
That would be cool. Make it easier.
You like this doll? Here's a bird defect. Okay, so as we come around the head, now again, 2 fingers from this, 2 fingers from this, is going to keep this consistent in width. And comb out those splits before you go ahead and shift the hair, because it's those splits, and you never leave
You
hair
had it.
on the bottom. Never. You want to put it in a pin curl.
I'll
So
email you
this
mine,
hair, hate those ears, but this hair is all going to go into pin curls here and here, but not here. So you see I made this one a little bit smaller. Whatever it takes to fit in room for your pin curls. So this side will have 3 forward and 3 reverse. And that's the way you start them. Open in, open in.
Okay.
Okay, and nothing there. I personally like to do these pin curls first, and these are reversed, so they start open in. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So these are a little different than this side. They're the same, but they're in different order. This, I like to do these first, then I do these, then I do this, then I do this. Okay? Do you have any questions?